there's another big event coming up tonight in Nashua, but we're going to get into that with our first guest. And we have a lot to talk about, actually. But let me bring that mic up. Mike McDowell is here, also known as The Healer.
You got it. Good morning.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I just wanted to say thank you for having me. This is an honor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I need to know, why do they call you The Healer?
So, I get that question a lot. And it's not, a lot of people are like, are you a traditional healer? And this is something that really called to me. I am not a traditional healer per se, but through music, I have been healed.
Okay.
It's been a long journey for me, and we could probably get into that later. But the sounds that I play and the sounds that I listen to, especially like my track selection for the things that I play for everybody, they heal. Music is the one thing that hits every part of the human brain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I play this music and get people all together as one, race doesn't matter, color doesn't matter, identity, sex, gender, none of that. It doesn't matter. We're one.
Right.
When we come together and play this music and dance, something magical happens.
Yeah.
And we heal.
Yeah.
That's simple.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
Thank
yeah,
you.
absolutely. Absolutely. We should talk about tonight. You've got a big event tonight in Nashua at Terminus Underground.
Yep. 134 Haynes Street, I believe, in Nashua.
Yep.
My good friend Eleanor and Andre, they're putting on a winter solstice event tonight. I do believe it starts at 8 p.m. I should be on at about 10 p.m. And we're just going to party holiday style.
Eleanor's in the chat room, by the way. She says, hi, Mike. She's in the Facebook
Love you,
chat.
girl.
And by the way, too, that's why we played Six Minds Combined is playing tonight, right? We played, as we were wrapping up hour number one, we played Running Through a Mansion. I was telling you off air how I think, like a lot of us, I always wake up with a song playing in my head first thing in the morning. And my playlist, that automatic playlist that pops up when I first open my eyes, that track is in the rotation.
Love that.
Yeah.
Rick is a beautiful man.
Yeah.
Beautiful man.
And Who I Am is playing too, right?
Yep.
Also in my rotation.
Excellent.
That song, Let Me Know When It's Time to Rock. I got that stuck in my head all the time.
Beautiful. Making traction.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Terminus is a great place. And a lot of we had a Green Jello or Green Jelly, whatever you want to call them, whichever name you want to use on the show. And Jenny worked with Eleanor to have them play Terminus, and it was quite a night. Yeah.
I love what Eleanor's doing, or what the whole team over there is doing, because it's inspiring, because it's a place for artists to be seen and heard. That's the bottom line, especially the underground. Nashua artist community. It gives them a place to play and be seen and heard, and we need more of that. You touched on small businesses being the way to go, and Walmart and Target having making enough money. Like, that's a part of it for the music and the artist community. So I'm truly grateful to be able to be a part of it.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And you have are you opening a venue as well, or?
I am. Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Definitely. Very curious to know more about this.
So, it's thanks to people like Eleanor for inspiring artists like myself to take the leap. I'm bound by fear at most points throughout the entire day. Fear likes to dictate my next decision. And when we've got people in our corner that really care about what we're doing and see how important what we're doing is, it allows me to tell that fear to step aside. And it's this place came about as first and foremost, it was an opportunity, and I don't really believe in coincidences too much these days. It was a sign from the universe for me. It was like, you've got a job to do, Mike. These people need a place to be seen and heard, like we were just talking about with Terminus. And the spot, which is actually what it's going to be called, is the spot. The space has been vacant for 6 years on Main Street in Nashua. It'll be at 217 Main Street, where Aubuchon Hardware used to be. Okay. For almost like 100 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty nostalgic, because I used to go in there when I was a kid, and we're demoing it right now, getting ready to put the new floors down, and we're shooting for like February or March to open, and this is going to be a sober establishment. Friday I'll have 18 years sober.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And for me, a lot of the motivation behind the spot was that I used to love the bar scene. I used to absolutely love the community, the bands, the music, the comedy, whatever it was. But for me and many, many other people, it grabs a hold. It grabs a hold of you and completely ruined my life.
Really?
And that's not to say anything that can handle say anything bad about anyone that can handle their alcohol.
Sure.
Excuse me. This is just for me and for the people that are going through what I go through. We don't have a place, a nice big place where artists can come, put their art on the walls, musicians come, comedies come, and there's no booze.
Yeah.
So by the end of the night, nobody's fighting and getting their girlfriends taken.
Right. Right.
So that was it, man. I was just kind of listening to the universe, listening to my heart, and it's a community thing. It's not a me thing. It's a we thing.
Yeah.
I'm taking ideas from everyone in my corner.
Yeah.
And trying to put this together with a team.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is an opportunity too, right? To do like all ages shows. Is that okay?
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
We need more of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I used to love, I don't know if you remember the Sad Cafe in Plastow.
I don't.
That was an all ages room,
Okay.
alcohol free. And I played in a couple of bands that would play shows there and booked a lot of shows there. Unfortunately, it's long gone now, but it was such a great place. It was cool too, because they would actually record your set.
Okay.
And they'd give you a CD at the end of the night.
Excellent.
Sometimes it was excellent. Sometimes it sounded terrible. It would depend on who was running the board that night. To be honest with you, but yeah, it was really cool. And and I remember for all those years. Well, for a lot of those years, it was the only in all of New Hampshire. It was the only room like that.
Okay.
Of course, if you go back further, there was Cafe Eclipse in Concord. Yep. Which was a great all ages room. But yeah, there aren't many.
No, and I'll share a couple of quick stories here about so we're down there doing a little build out a couple of weeks ago, and it's happened a few times. Excuse me. Folks are walking by, and there was about 3 elderly women walking by, and they just stopped and looked in the windows. It was probably 9 p.m. and you could tell they were just having dinner down the street, somewhere on Main Street. And so I went outside and I started talking to them, and they were like, "Hey, we're really curious. We keep seeing the lights on here. It's been vacant for some time. What do you got going on?" So I shared the story about where I came from and why we're doing it. And I had one of the women in tears, and she was like, "Wow. This town needs this."
Yeah.
And she's not the only one that said that. Just last week, a gentleman was walking by, and he's rubbernecking as he's walking by, and I'm going out to grab something from the car, and we just we engaged, we started having a conversation, and he's like, "Listen, man, I drank, and this is an excellent idea, and I'm going to be down here." And he says, "My son's in a Beatles cover band. Would you like to?" I said, "We want everybody to come down here, so even if you drink, come down. We don't care about that. Yeah, booze isn't going to be allowed there,
right?
But come down and have a good time. That's what this is about."
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's outstanding. And what are you going to, in terms of the entertainment? I mean, obviously, so I assume you're going to have bands and DJs. You'll probably DJ there, right?
Yeah. So we're going to do once a month. We're going to have per se an EDM night. I hate that term.
Why?
For the general public, EDM kind of sums up all the genres.
Yeah.
But I come from a place where I play house music, and someone else will play dubstep.
Yeah.
And so, but all encompassing, it's EDM.
Yeah.
It's electronic dance music. But once a month we're going to do that. I've got a great band, bunch of young kids from Nashua that are absolutely phenomenal. I'd like to shout them out, the Whole Loaf.
They've been on the show.
Yep. Like 7 months ago they were on or something like that.
It becomes a blur. But that sounds about right.
Yeah, man. Those guys are unbelievable,
Absolutely,
man. And so we're going to have them down. We're going to do comedy nights. I've got plans for Monday through Friday, 11 to 1 during the day. We're going to do acoustic lunches.
Okay.
Yep. So we're going to have acoustic artists come in.
Very
and
cool.
All the artists are going to be paid. We got big plans. Big plans. I want to showcase a lot of art on the walls. I'm going to do a rotation monthly where someone gets a section of the wall and a QR code will be put up so it'll link right to all their socials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just want us all to be seen and heard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
It's a great opportunity too for bands that maybe like, there are some young bands in the area that have a hard time even getting booked at, like at a bar, because a lot of places don't want, like years ago, I don't know if you remember the Uptown Tavern.
Oh God. Yeah. Kind of.
I was one of the promoters that put on a lot of shows there.
Okay.
And, they would let me book underage bands, but it was like they could only come in when it was time to set up,
right.
and then they had to leave right after, and it was, and the management there wasn't crazy about it. But we need places like that where younger bands can play. Like I work with a band called Under the Horizon.
Okay.
I'm handling their radio campaign, and I'm also trying to get them some shows, but it's hard because bars don't want, they're underage. Bars are like more uptight about it than ever.
Yep.
Which I understand.
Of course.
But so it's so valuable to have a place that younger people can play.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
And it's tough when you're at that age and what your passion is. You know deep in your heart that you can't help but play this music or paint that painting. It's inside of you.
Yeah.
And when you get kind of shunned down because you don't have a place to go, it hurts.
Yeah.
It does. I ruined my chances of ever really playing anywhere when I was like 19 because I got into the rave scene early and I found exactly what I needed. And then I trailed off and I allowed the demons to come in and start dictating the course of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm super grateful that I'm coming up on 18 now because I've matured, kind of. I've matured to the point where I understand that the music and the dancing in the community were always my first love.
Yeah.
And so like I choose not to allow the other vices to come in. I've built a foundation and I can do it.
Yeah.
And I have no words for what it is. So point being, like, these young kids need a place so that they don't stray down the path that I went, because you get insecure when people tell you no.
Right.
Right. So yeah, to give them a platform to be able to express their passion is going to do wonders for them in the course of their life.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. Yep. We have a question for you in the chat room. So our friend Charles Richardson, who is in Florida. Speaking of Florida, we were talking off air about Florida, and we'll get to that.
Hey, Charles.
We have a mutual friend in Florida, of course. But so Charles is asking, hey, congratulations on being sober and the new establishment. But I wanted to ask, what made you turn toward the bottle in your life, and also what made you stop?
Thank you, Charles. What made me turn? If we really break that down, it was just insecurities and low self-esteem, and an easy way out is what caused me to turn to the bottle. A lot of kids my age were doing that. That's what we did when we were kids.
Yeah. And
I had no idea that, like, I was an addict. I didn't know that I was hardwired differently.
Yeah.
Not really differently, man. Lots of us are hardwired that way. It was an easy way out, Charles. If I could really sum it out, it was, instead of taking a good hard look at self and trying to do a little bit of work, this young kid was just going to take the bottle and run with it. And once I started, I couldn't stop because it numbed it right out. The voices that told me I wasn't good enough and that I would never be anybody, that was it. I was partying like a rock star with no instrument.
Yeah. That's the insidious thing about alcoholism too, is that as you referred to it, you didn't know you were, like, your brain is hardwired for that. That's the thing. With alcohol, you don't know.
Nope.
You really have no way of knowing until it's too late.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know there's some research that shows that there may be a genetic component.
Yeah.
But like with anything, you can never, you can't be sure.
Right.
It's particularly interesting to me. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a certified hypnotherapist. And one of the things I help people with is addiction.
Excellent.
So I'm always very interested in that.
Thank you for doing that, Matt. That's great.
Oh yeah, no, I love getting to help people is wonderful.
That's
why when I heard you were called the healer, I was like, oh, perfect.
Yep.
Oh, before we go any further too, now I can't. So you gave me a sticker, which I love. Now, unfortunately, because we're on FM radio, I cannot say verbatim what this says. But I'll put it for those watching online. I can hold it up to the camera. But basically it says just be a decent human.
Yep.
There is an additional word in there that really kind of puts a point on it. But just be a decent human, I think, is a great message. And if I hold it up to the camera, you can see exactly what it says.
Shout out to Tim for making those for me. Good friend of mine.
Now, is he a graphic designer?
No, I'm pretty sure he just jumped online somewhere and kind of just threw it together. And because I say that all the time to people, and he just came into my shop in Hudson and with a stack of them as a gift. And he was like, here, give these to people. And I'm like, dude, that's amazing. Yeah. Because that's it. Just be a decent human. Yeah. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
In a world full, it's cold out there, guys. It is. The world can be cold, but like, I'm a firm believer that the more that we're decent to people for no reason, we have a chance. We do. We have a chance of healing the world. Yeah. Just be nice to people.
You know what I always say too is it's a lot of it is about what you put out there for energy. If you put positive energy out there, and some people will scoff a little bit because they'll say, like you referred earlier to the universe, guiding you and so forth, or putting you in this direction. And not everyone believes in that.
Yep.
But I always say, even if you don't believe in the concept of, the quote unquote universe and the energy and all that, even if you don't believe in that, you don't have to believe in that. It's still, regardless of that, take that piece out of it if it's too woo-woo for you or whatever. It's still just kind of how life works anyway.
Yeah.
Even without that part of it, although I do believe in that part of it, because I've had some wild synchronicities happen that it can't possibly be coincidence.
No.
I really believe that. But even if you take that part out of it, I think that's still just kind of how life works. In that if you're a good person and if you're a positive person, other positive people are going to want to be around you.
Yep.
Whereas if you're a negative person, positive people are not going to want to be around you, and the negative people will fill the void.
Absolutely. And it's been proven with me as well through trial and error.
Yeah.
I try to, like, people come with me with a little bit of negativity in a conversation, and I'll try, hey, let's, because it's contagious.
Yes.
And it will latch on, and then it just, you see what happens. Yep.
100%.
Yep.
Oh, the Florida thing. So, so our friend DJ Midas, who is either the first or second person to actually have a show here on WMNH. I'm not sure if his show was first or the morning show with Peter White was first. One of them was first, and one of them was second. But Midas's show, Late Night Delight, which of course you can hear every Saturday night starting at midnight, and then it repeats on Sunday night at midnight. What I guess would technically be Monday, but he's a WMNH original. But you Midas.
Yep. Well. Shout out to John. Thank you, buddy. Love you, man. What an inspiration. When I first was introduced to the scene, back when I was a kid and started going to late night parties and raves, like, he was there. And he is such an versatile artist. Like, the music that he plays pushes boundaries, and that's what it's about for me, is being able to do something different. And I'm super grateful for him because he actually laid, like, this foundation of attraction for me to what people were doing behind the decks. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So thank you, John.
So if not for him, you might not.
Yeah, guys like him, DJ Farrow, Todd, very good friend of mine. For guys like them, absolutely. If I didn't hear what they were doing and the sound, because it hits you in the heart, doesn't hit you in the ears. Right. If they weren't doing it, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. Let's see. Also in the chat room, I see Mike Pelletier Jr.
Mikey
says, the healer Mike McDowell, my dude, love you, bro.
Don't make me cry, dude. It's too early for that.
Very nice.
I've known Mikey since he was 10 years old. He lives across the street with me, and man, I love that guy. To watch him flourish and grow and just be a part of my life.
Yeah.
He's lifted me up in times that, like, I don't even know where I'd be without him. So thank you, Mikey.
No kidding. Very cool. Very cool. Also, Grimrock from Pennsylvania says, congrats on your sobriety. I have 13 years sobriety
Thank
now.
You.
Very nice.
Congrats.
And, hashtag musicians for sobriety. Very nice. Very nice. I see Isaac Banks, one of our friends from Greensboro. Is it North Carolina or South Carolina? Oh, the whole loaf is in the chat room as well. Hello.
Oh, my guys.
Miriam Banish is in there and says, good morning. Malcolm Wood is in the chat. Of course, good morning, Malcolm.
You got people from all over, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
Love you guys.
That's a nice thing, too, about, we live in a time where, with the radio show, even though we love Manchester and love being here, and you can listen locally on 95.3 FM, but of course you can stream the show from anywhere in the world, really.
Yes, beautiful.
Or I say anywhere in the world. I don't know that necessarily in Iran you're allowed to listen, you know, or Saudi Arabia, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe they're pirating it.
Maybe.
Yep.
Now, so what's so getting back to the spot? So what's kind of do you have a timetable? Do you kind of know when?
So we had originally planned like January, February, but as always, that the way you have it planned, it never works out that way.
Of course.
We're looking at probably end of February, maybe March. Yep.
Now, how is the city to work with? How is the city of Nashua to work with?
They're actually really great.
Good.
They're just very busy right now.
Yeah.
So we're getting held up on getting inspections and stuff like that. No fault of their own, but because like I said, trades are very busy, especially in the commercial area right now. But no, they're great to work with.
Good.
Yep. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from people that are working like in the mayor's office and stuff like that. I just keep hearing, we need this. Nashua needs this.
Yeah.
So they're all for it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, because, now that I'm thinking about it, because, you do hear stories about, I'm not talking about Nashua, I'm not talking about any city specifically, but, you hear stories, people are trying to open something in whatever city or town they're in, they're kind of getting a hard time from the local officials or whatnot. But in your case too, whereas you're doing something that the community does need, I can't help but wonder, are they really going to kind of help you more than they would help maybe someone who was, if you were just opening a bar,
right,
or I don't know, a strip club or something,
right,
something, or a casino, something that they'd be worried about. You're doing something that's only going to be positive.
Yep.
That the community needs. So I think they have a little extra incentive in that sense to help you, right? It's going to be something good for the community.
I would hope so, Nashua.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, so when you open, you're going to serve food there? Is that correct? Because you mentioned something about lunch when acoustic artists will play.
Yeah. So we've got the Main Street community is filled with some excellent restaurants and excellent food. So I've popped into Main Street Euro or Gyro, however you want to call it, and then Empinelli's is an empanada place right around the corner. They're great.
I like empanadas.
Shout out to both you guys. But I've popped in there and kind of let them know what we were doing. And I don't want to cook food at the spot. We could put in a kitchen if we wanted to.
Yeah.
It's zoned for it, obviously. I've got my sister-in-law, Sarah. She just opened up Raw Toast, is her bread company.
Okay.
And it's phenomenal bread. So she's going to team up with us and kind of make pastries and stuff that'll coincide with coffee and tea during the day, because during the day I'm going to be serving Anchorhead Coffee, which is out in Seattle. They're sending some coffee my way, and we're going to grind up the beans there. I want people to experience a coffee and tea bar during the day.
Yeah.
So if you're working on Main Street, about to go to work, you can pop in there and grab some coffee. Lunch break, come down, because we're going to have acoustic artists and get some coffee and tea or whatever. We're going to have mocktails of all types.
Yeah.
But I really want to hone in on coffee and tea bar during the day. And so she's gonna bring us pastries and stuff like that. And it's really, I know that other people are going to end up coming in and saying, "Hey, I make this. Can we put it?" Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's a community thing. It's a we thing, but we're not going to serve our own food there.
Well, you know what's smart about that? I really like that is if you're teaming up with other, like you mentioned, the empanada plate. Empinelli's.
Yep.
If you're kind of teaming up, working with other restaurants to do that, to bring in food or whatever, then you're not competing with anybody. So you're no threat to them. You can only be a benefit to them if they take you up on that and they work with you. So that I think is very smart.
Absolutely.
Too, because that's going to generate a lot of goodwill among these other businesses. If you're going to them and saying, we don't want to compete with you, we want to work with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was my selfless nature. I mean, I'm very selfless. I put myself last in most instances. And,
but this is a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
What you just described.
Yep.
That strategy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's very smart.
Yeah.
And of course, because it's not a bar.
Yep.
I assume because it's not a bar, because I know it's like Jenny knows a lot about the law because she used to be a state legislator here in New Hampshire. And she always says, there's really no such thing as a bar in New Hampshire. Everything's a restaurant.
Okay.
Because if you're a bar, you're required to have a certain amount of, I don't know exactly how the math works, but it's like a certain percentage of your sales has to be food and not alcohol.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are exemptions, I guess. Like Jewel is actually classified as a ballroom, not a bar. I don't know how that part works. Yeah.
Loopholes.
But in your case, whereas you're not serving alcohol, you don't have to worry about it. So that's great.
Yep.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm curious too, the space, like, can you tell that it used to be an Aubuchon? Is there stuff left over?
Yeah. So I've got some cool pictures on my phone when we were digging up. So it was probably 4 layers of plywood, not plywood, but 4 layers of flooring in the ply. So they never ripped up the old flooring. Every time somebody renovated, they would just lay more flooring down. Okay. So I had my good buddy. He stepped up to the plate and got him and his guys to go down and rip up the floor a couple of weeks ago. And they ripped up like 4 layers and got it down to the original hardwood floor that was in there.
Oh, no kidding.
And we really wanted to use it, but it was going to get damaged as they were ripping it up.
Yeah.
But there's those tree fresheners, that we hang in the used to hang in the rear views.
Yeah.
There's like a giant one from probably 50 years ago that's stuck to the floor. And then one of those, get your keys made here.
Yeah.
That's probably from like early 80s that's stuck there. It's about 2 feet by 2 feet. It was really cool.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then you go down in the basement and there's like 3 separate stairways that go up to nothing down in the space because Main Street has risen about 5 feet over the years. It used to be, so if you were to try to access through that stairway, you'd run right into the sidewalk at your chest. Yeah. So there's these like staircases that aren't being used anymore. It's really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I feel sound studio vibes coming from that basement.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that immediately. Obviously, we want to get these doors open and get everybody in there. But I think a year or so down the road, I'd like to build out a sound studio that'll be under Main Street.
Oh, that's very cool.
So we can record things and people can come and record albums at the spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Now, have you always been an entrepreneur?
I didn't. I was just funny. I was just talking to them before they left. I didn't know what it was, Matt.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I knew that for me, working the 9 to 5 didn't sit right with me. And that's not to knock it. Yeah. I'm a little crazy. And I loved the jobs that I had growing up.
Yeah.
But for me, the thought of working till I am 65 and collecting a certain percentage of money from that company, it just didn't make sense for me. Mm-hmm. God bless my dad. The guy shows up to work every day. He is my role model.
Yeah.
And he has been my whole life. Shout out to mom and dad. I love you guys. But for me, I didn't know that the ADD, right, the attention deficit, was actually an asset class. I was always told, Mike, you got to sit down and shut up. You're not, sit down, shut up, sit down, shut up. I'm a scatterbrain. But as an entrepreneur, that's an asset class. That's the skill set. So it wasn't until a few years ago that somebody was like, oh, you're an entrepreneur. And I'm like, no, those are those big guys that own multiple companies and da-da-da-da. I guess that's what I am. I don't know, Matt. I'm what I'm addicted to is listening to what the people want. Mm-hmm. I own a repair shop in Hudson that got voted the best repair shop in the greater Nashua area 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And we were only 2 years old.
Yeah.
Wow. And we're not it's not even in Nashua, it's in Hudson.
Yeah.
And we're in the running for it again for 2024. But it for me, it's about listening to what do you guys want? Mm-hmm. Like what's missing in the community and how can we do something to kickstart it? Yeah. So that's it. That's what I'm doing.
The ADD part of that is really interesting to me because you might know him. Do you know Dr. Kevin? He lives in Nashua.
I do.
You know Dr.
I do,
Kevin?
yeah.
So he's a good friend of mine and we've done a lot of work together too. And I'm a regular on his podcast. And,
okay.
I was at a chamber. He's invited me to a couple of the Nashua Chamber of Commerce events, but he's done a lot of work. I don't know if you know this about him. He's done a lot of work in that area. Like he's written multiple books about ADD, ADHD.
Okay.
And one of the books is called Managing the Gift, because he comes at it from the perspective of, if you have ADD and you're being told in school or by whomever, well, this is some sort of a learning disability, or that's the wrong thing to be telling people.
And that's what I heard.
Because because it can so much, as you were talking about, it can so much be an asset. There are so many things where you can use that to your advantage.
Yep.
And a lot of successful entrepreneurs, they code for having ADD.
Yeah.
And it can really, and that's why he calls it managing the gift, because it can really be a gift.
I'm gonna have to talk to him. I didn't even know that he did that.
Yeah.
He's helped me before, man. We sat down and when we had a session.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh yeah, and it was eye opening.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And for the people that for anyone that's young out there and you quote unquote suffer from ADD or I don't know how it is nowadays. It's probably changed. But when I was a kid, you were broken. Like you weren't like everyone else, and we don't all have to fit into the same box.
Right.
We don't. There is not one way up the mountain.
Right.
The societal blueprint for success has been and was always, that model of get up, punch the clock, go to work, get home, and put your money in a 401k and all that, save your money, all that stuff. Like if you weren't doing that, you were doing something wrong, and that's how I was brought up. And it's nice to see that there's a flourishing community of like-minded people like myself that are getting together and understand, like, you can do anything you want. We don't have to follow the societal norm. Right. There's a way to get to the top. There's many different ways to get to the top.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's great that you're so familiar with Dr. Kevin. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
He's absolutely amazing. And so tell me about now the DJing. Are you actively DJing?
Oh,
now,
absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, I can't stop. It's something that I do every single day.
Yeah.
It's been my passion for the longest time. Solely really house music, which is a genre that started way back. But when I first heard it, it was so different from the mainstream sound, and I became just fully addicted to it.
Yeah.
And so I just play.
Yeah.
If people want to hear it, cool. And I never really got too many gigs when I was younger. I'm not it's not my motivation to really get gigs.
Yeah.
I just love to play.
Yeah.
So if people want me to play, I'm playing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because it does something for me, and I know that it'll do something for somebody else.
Right.
Yep.
How often do you play out?
I play every single day.
Yeah.
And I stream on YouTube. I've got a YouTube.
Okay.
Yep. I've got a YouTube channel.
Excellent.
For the Healer. And I play, like I said, I play every day. I stream probably once a week. It's just my passion, Matt.
With the streaming, do you run into any, they're constantly changing how they approach it. With this show, because we stream on YouTube, and with this show, like I don't get copyright strikes because that's only if someone actually wants to, really go at you. But I just get the thing that says, you can't monetize this,
all the time,
which is fine. Is that
all the time?
But you don't get struck, right?
No,
that's good.
Yeah, it'll tell me that, like, some of my mixes will tell me that it's a portion of it's being muted in certain countries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I find that YouTube's actually the easier one outside of Twitch. Twitch is great. I just haven't used it since last year.
Yeah.
YouTube has been great as far as getting a reach. Aside from like Facebook, going Facebook Live, I can never really keep the stream on Facebook. But yeah. I've been having good luck. But yeah, same thing happens to me with YouTube.
With Facebook, because we also stream to Facebook, and I get I'll get a notification afterward that says now it's fine because, well, once in a while it'll say your video's muted or parts of your video are muted. But most of the time, it'll say your video is sharing ad revenue with whoever was.
I've caught that one.
Whoever was on the show that day, which is fine. Whatever.
What does that mean?
It just means that so I guess Facebook is collecting money.
Okay.
If your stream generates money, but nothing I have on there is monetized anyway. So I don't even know how. Like if you go to one of my Facebook videos, it's not like an ad pops up. But if something were generated from it, I guess I'm sharing the revenue. That I don't get anyway. But I'm sharing the revenue with whoever was on the show that day, whose music we featured. Because they own the copyright. Because I'll tell you, Facebook and YouTube, their content ID systems have gotten to be, as I'm sure you've noticed, doing what you do with the streaming. They really they're really on top of it now. It's like there's no getting around it. Like, you used to be able to kind of fool the content ID bots by, if you maybe play with the speed on something a little bit.
Cut it up.
But now it's like there's no fooling there's no fooling anybody.
And you're using the AI anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just can listen and it knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
100%. Yeah. Now, what else do you plan to do at the spot when it opens? So obviously you're going to have live music. You talked about what you might do in the basement with a studio. Do you have any other plans for it?
Oh, yeah. I want to do comedy nights. I want to do poetry nights. Maybe even considering putting like a projector screen up and doing movie nights once a week. Basically, what my vision for it is, during the summers, we have a lot of my core circle come over to my house and we sit around the fire and like I'll bring the turntables outside and light the tiki torches and we just kind of create a vibe. And it's the vibe that like like I told you, I'm very scatterbrained and that can come with a lot of anxiety as well for no reason. But when I'm able to do that and get my friends to come around, like it immediately heals me to a place where like the anxiety is gone. So thank you guys for coming over when I do that. But what we want to do at the spot is kind of encompass that same vibe down at the spot. It's like, just come down, hang out, leave the worries at the door and just have a good time with us.
Yeah.
That's it. And listen to some great music, check out some cool art. And that's it, man. It's simple. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, Eleanor, of course, is in the chat. She said, regarding we were just talking about content ID. She said, get music business knowledge at New Hampshire Underground.
Yep, yes. She's right. And she's great.
I love the new name, by the way.
I do too. I do too.
I told her recently, I said, see, I can't, I'm having trouble even pulling it up in my brain now. Cause I used to trip over when I would try to say Midnight Creatives Collective.
Yeah.
I would trip over it when I would try to say it on the air. And I think one time I ended up saying Midnight Creatures, something like, I don't even know where I got the word creatures from. But somehow that ended up in my brain. And so it's much easier to say New Hampshire Underground.
Absolutely.
And it's, and the venue is Terminus Underground. So you've got, there's consistency with the underground. So yeah, I think it's a very, very positive move.
Yeah. I want to shout her out real quick for anybody that's like, has questions about, the business side of music. Like, reach out to Eleanor at what is it, Matt? The Underground. What's it?
Yeah, New Hampshire Underground.
New Hampshire Underground.
Yeah.
You can find her on Facebook. She has been such a light in my process to try to fill in the gaps of the things that I just don't know about.
Right.
And what it does for me when I don't know about something is like I'll try to gather the information on my own, and then if I don't have any luck, it gets put on the back burner.
Yeah.
So having someone like Eleanor in my corner really keeps me accountable for myself. And she is super smart when it comes to this stuff and really fun and awesome to work with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Oh, Rick Everhard, also known as Six Minds Combined, is in the chat, and he's reminding us that he's performing tonight at Terminus.
That he is.
And he was also suggesting did you say open mic, or did he suggest that? He says open mic.
Oh, we're absolutely going to have it. I probably left it out, Rick, but you know it. You know it, buddy. We're definitely going to have one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We have to, because there's people out there that don't know. I've got a good friend of mine, Larry. I used to deliver packages for UPS, and he worked for FedEx, and we would always run into each other on the road, and that's how we formed a relationship. And as of late, he's been throwing up these little videos of him playing acoustic on his Facebook. And I'm telling, he's never played for anyone live.
Yeah.
And so I'm dying to get him down. He's a little nervous about it. And I understand that, but man, Larry, people need to hear what you got, because some people have such a gift and they don't know that it's a gift.
Right.
And the world needs it.
Right.
So yes, absolutely open mics.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. We should remind people about the event tonight at Terminus, Terminus Underground.
Woo.
And 6 Minds Combined, Who I Am, and who else?
I can't remember. I think there's someone that performs with Who I Am.
Oh, Thrax?
But I can't remember.
Yeah. But that's going to be tonight at Terminus.
Yep. 8 p.m.
Let me pull it up on. I had it on my phone opened up earlier, and I accidentally closed that tab. Okay, yeah, Terminus Underground, Bright Lights, Winter Solstice Party. Nice list only. You're invited to dance the night away.
Yes,
and that is 21 plus BYOB. That's at 134 Haynes Street in Nashua. So if you haven't been to Terminus, you should definitely.
Yeah, come on down, guys. It's a very unique setting.
Yeah.
Very unique. It's comfortable.
Well, you know what I tell everybody? It's like when you walk into that room, it's like you're walking into another world.
Absolutely.
You know, that was my reaction the first time Jenny and I went there.
It's super cool. There's no venue like it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to have a good time tonight.
Eleanor says, we have a disco ball.
I love it. Perfect.
She also said the spot is an incubator for new and young artists.
There it is.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
Love you, Al. Thank you.
Oh, do you want to mention too? So you said, your repair shop, do you want to give that a plug?
Yeah, man. Devoted Repairs. We're at 3 Melendi Road in Hudson. It's real simple, man. We're just offering the people what they need, and we've got like such an amazing core list of clients, man. And I don't even like to call them clients. They're family. 90% of the people that come in to get their cars repaired, inspected, whatever with us, I've known for a long time. And if I didn't know them, we form a relationship with them, because I love meeting new people. Like, everybody's got something interesting about them that's different from the next person and the next person. If you take the time to just sit there for a couple of minutes and skip the surface talk and really break stuff down, like, humans are weird and interesting, and I absolutely love that. So Devoted Repairs. You can, if need be, you need to jump on devotedrepairs.com. You can check out our reviews there. You can book with us. You can send us a message right through the website. But yeah, that was my first real baby, and I love that place.
Yep. Eleanor said, see their ad in Spectrum Monthly.
That's right.
Yes, I'm in there too.
Yep.
For Matt Connarton Hypnosis. Yes.
Yep.
And Rick Everhard says, that's where I go. Devoted Repairs.
My dude.
Excellent.
My dude.
Excellent.
Yep.
There's another place in Nashua I go for mine. Well, never mind.
Get out of here.
I won't say on the air where I go for my inspections, but I bet you know the place. Anyway, when I want to get in and out quick. Anyway, you probably know who
Matt's going to get himself in trouble here.
You probably know who I'm talking about.
I probably do.
You probably do. They have a reputation of their own.
I plead the fifth.
No, but that's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, as we approach the top of the hour, so where should people go to keep up with everything that you're doing?
Facebook is primarily the best place. You can find me at Mike McDowell, and then it says The Healer in parentheses afterwards. I'm also on Instagram at, I believe it's the.healer_music.
Okay.
And since I'm throwing that out there, I'll start to make sure that I'm on top of my IG feed more. And those are two of the best ways to follow what I'm doing. And I'm up on Facebook posting at least a couple times a day.
Yeah.
Yep. And I will say I'm fortunate enough to have a gig coming up in Providence at Platforms.
Oh, excellent.
On January 11th. Yep. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, so you're getting some more love in the chat room. Sim Sear, if I'm saying that correctly, says, just found out recently my buddy Ben works for you.
Yep.
Honesty and skill over at Devoted, for sure.
Oh my God, I love you. And that's the truth, man. That's one of the core values is that transparency and honesty. And Ben and Gavin and Mike, they're equally just amazing team members. I don't like to call them employees.
Yeah.
I don't let them call me the boss. We're doing this together,
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
That is awesome. Well, Mike McDowell, the healer, thank you so much.
Of course. Can I give a quick shout out? Happy birthday to my buddy Adam Quimby.
Absolutely.
Jerkface. Happy birthday, brother. We love you. And a big shout out to my soul tribe. You know who you are.
Very nice.
And thank you, Matt, for having me.
Absolutely. We will do it again in the future.